This is about songwriting. I had an inkling to write about songwriting. Inkling is defined as a slight knowledge or suspicion or a hint. So I had an inkling that I should write about songwriting, as it's something I've invested much of my life doing. I suppose it would be logical. But even as I say that I've spent much of my time writing songs, I don't know that that's even true. It's more that I've spent much of my time being open to the songs floating by in the ether, which brings us back to this word inkling. My experience of songwriting, or any creative act really, but even more so with songwriting, is to follow the inklings, follow the hints or the inspirations. The thoughts that float by which seem insignificant, but then they float by again, like, what are you doing? Like whispers from a different realm. Ideas and where they come from is as mysterious as the energy we have to pursue them, or our willingness to be open to them. Songwriting, therefore, is a practice like any other meditation, and the voices we pull from this ether tend to tell us things about our life in this place that we couldn't have otherwise known. They breathe extra life in the life we are already living, and very often they predict the future. It's kind of spooky, like some kind of melodic oracles that you capture in the audio notes of your phone and may never revisit again, or else may end up building a whole orchestra around them. The magic of songwriting is not only that it hinges on inklings or tiny inspirations, but also it's the only thing that combines words and melody. It's funny that when you really think about it. It's the combination of words and melody, and I find that interesting to define it as such, because a song's official definition is a musical composition intended to be performed by the human voice. So a song is also an invitation to find our voice. The depth of our true voice may be in the combination of words and melody. Maybe that's where the real depth of it is. It's a dancing prayer, if you will, a demonic seance, a plea for sex, a mischievous rant, a kaleidoscopic journey. It's the combination of words and melody that give it all its power. It's the ability to bend words, to shift their meaning or accentuate their power. If you think about it, words were always going to demand a melody. They weren't going to live their whole lives satisfied with just being spoken. For words themselves are so powerful that they were going to need to find vehicles for their expression, like spaceships. Melodies are like word spaceships. Melodies, another mysterious and powerful force. And melody is even too difficult to discuss. They say talking about songs or music is like dancing about architecture, because a melody just comes to you. Strumming chords and humming melodies fall from the discussions in the sky between spirits that we are lucky enough to tap into from time to time. It's nothing you can really write from an analytical state of mind. It's not a mental construct as much as a spiritual one. If one has difficulty believing in the spiritual realm or the realm of principalities, we need only consider melody and try to explain its origins. Indeed, for me, songwriting is a spiritual practice and can't really be defined any other way. Songwriting underlines the fact that there are worlds beyond this one, and that songwriting is in fact a way to commune with such worlds, a way to pass notes back and forth with those principalities, to communicate with those worlds and share the evidence of those communications with others. That's the fun part. But songwriting isn't just magical, healing, and spiritual. It's also dumb, soulless, and commercial. It has all the sides of life. It becomes what we bring to it. Which brings me to the song I feel like discussing now, a new one I wrote, or that was transmitted to me and now from me to you, hopefully, or however this mysterious operation works. It started as an inkling. Inkling, what a funny word that is. Something I would say all the time, something I heard in rooms of recovery, the song I wrote, a phrase I liked, which is, "There but for the grace of God go I." I had never heard a song use that phrase before, and perhaps there is one. I haven't Googled it, nor will I, because it doesn't really matter. If we're inspired by a line, we should just run with it, allow it to operate through us. It probably has a message for us. There, but for the grace of God, go I, is a wonderful message, a message of humility and compassion. Humility because it is saying that left to our own devices, we would be no better off than anyone else, that we could be as down and seemingly out as anyone, and we are no different than our brothers and sisters here, and that in the final analysis, we are utterly dependent on God, and that all that is good in our lives comes from Him, and all the so-called bad pushes us into greater communion with Him, hopefully. Just under the line, there, but for the grace of God go I, is the acknowledgement that we are all one, and that it is by grace alone that we get by. Grace and faith. Faith is difficult, but I will make a different video about that. Maybe I'll write a song. Faith is difficult. That's a good idea. Why don't we all write that song? As for now, let's look at verse 1 of There, but for the grace of God go I.
Look at life in the vacant sky. The days we lived in the healing cry. To see the wounded live and die. There, but for the grace of God go I. There, but for the grace of God go I.
Verse 1. Look at life and the vacant sky, the days we've lived in the healing cry. To see the wounded live and die. There, but for the grace of God go I. It's a poetic way of saying I am no different than anyone else. I see all of my gifts come from God. Look at life in the vacant sky, the big sky, the mystery surrounding us all. The word vacant is synonymous in this case with giant and mysterious. It's a little darker, I guess, vacant. It's interesting about lyrics because they come from a place of intuition and instinct, and then they point to things much bigger than what your mind conceptualized in writing. At least that's how it works for me. When I analyze these lyrics after the fact, I can read meanings into them easily that I didn't conceptualize as I was writing them. Often I'm just looking for a rhyme, but find something much deeper almost on accident. That's the magic of songwriting. There, but for the grace of God go I. Verse 2.
Who gave the birds wings to fly? Who gave us the will to get by? For those that can't even try. There, but for the grace of God go I. There, but for the grace of God go I.
Who gave the birds wings to fly? Who gave us the will to get by? For those that can't even try. There, but for the grace of God go I. This points to that. Who gave the birds wings to fly? It points to that mystery. Who gave us the will to get by? I suppose this song is ultimately an acknowledgement of the Most High, bowing before our Creator, or pointing out the obvious divinity and invisible spiritual community we obviously live with on our journey here. At least it's obvious to me. I guess it's not obvious to everybody. In fact, it's an area of huge debate, but to me it seems obvious, and songwriting points to it in a dramatic way. Birds' wings. Who gave those birds the wings to fly? The design of that. And then our will, it equates birds' wings with our will to get by. And again, that was on accident, which is like spiritual wings. And I'm pointing out these things because I think it's encouraging. If you just write stuff magic will happen. In writing those lines, I didn't conceptualize the depth I can see after the fact. I stumbled on it in the act of creating. So beyond presenting this song in a kind of experimental songwriting workshop video, I suppose its value comes encouraging you to creative action and overcoming the mind and perfectionism yet again. It's always about that, overcoming the mind, to work with the mind, to go beyond the mind and find the magic song of our soul. I think songs at their best are an offering to life, a gift we give back to life for the gift of life. A song is a living prayer. Beyond being silent and simply knowing God, a song, in my view, is the best kind of prayer because it resembles the magic of the spiritual realm, and it can help us to feel the depth of the life we are actually in and living. Let me know what you think about these sort of songwriting, this concept of songwriting workshop videos. I have this idea of doing this with a few different songs. Let me know if you liked it, and write your own there before the grace of God go out. I'm going to work on Faith is Difficult and Radical Sabbatical. Thanks for watching.